Tjena, Öystein Rönne. Idag lördag. Dagen med stort D. Tusenmannamarschen. Medborgarplatsen Stockholm klockan 14.00. Som jag pushade för igår. 2 videos, korta. Jag gör det nu idag igen. Jag har hittat då en intervju som är på nätet om man säger så. Med Filip Sjöström. Och ni som ännu inte har bestämt er för att gå med i den här marschen kan ju kika på den här kanske på ungefär en halvtimme. Gjord av något tyskt bolag. Så den är på engelska, men jävligt trevlig kille och jag känner att den här vill jag dela, så jag lägger in den i den här videon precis efter då. Och nu är det 4 timmar kvar till klockan är 14 då, så att men vilken fantastisk kille säger jag bara. Alltså tänk om fler vore som han, en ung kille dessutom. Tänk om fler gjorde som han utav svenska befolkningen. Då hade vi inte haft en situation som vi har idag. Alltså, heder åt Filip säger jag bara. Wow, vilken kille. Han vart uppringd tydligen, kontaktad utav Länsstyrelsen, jag tror det var igår eller någonting sånt, förrgår. Säger han i det här klippet då. Och de hotar honom med att gör det här, då kommer vi att skicka en bot på 20 000 till dig. Och vad svarar hjälten, kallar han för det, för någonting va? Ja, det skiter jag i. Vilken fantastisk människa alltså. Wow, säger jag bara. Ja, jag är tyvärr inte med själv alltså. Jag har precis varit uppe i Stockholm. Men har ni möjlighet, gå på den här. Gå för det själv. Man har rätt att promenera. Det är en mänsklig rättighet genom stan. Och som jag sa igår, träna mer i kastrull och slå till grann så här. Det enda de kan göra det är ju sy in 2000 personer. Men då har ju då polisen i sådana fall visat sitt rätta ansikte och inte minst makthavarna. Det är så här vi gör med befolkningen. Ådalen 31, jag säger bara det. Så heder åt dig Filip som gör det här och alla ni andra som är med och organiserar och alla ni andra som går den här marschen och trotsar det här sjuka systemet, den här bluffen. Skitbra säger jag. Filmen den kommer i alla fall här, så får vi se, jag hoppas det går bra i Stockholm. Jag kommer följa det här på håll, jag lovar. Ha det gott, hej.
Hello Philip.
Hi,
Good to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
So, you are the organizer of the Tusenmannamarschen, right?
Yes.
Please explain, what is the Tusenmannamarschen?
It's a manifestation for freedom and truth. That's the way we describe it. But for me, it's actually doing the most important thing right now, and that is to gather people, like-minded people right now, who see that things in this society is corrupt, so that we can come together, help each other to speak the truth and claim our freedom, our rights.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this protest is taking place when? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Saturday, the 6th of March, at 2 p.m.
At where?
Medborgarplatsen in Stockholm.
Okay. How many people do we expect? Yeah.
Well, I think can be up to 2,000 people actually.
So, would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you?
Yes. I kind of don't know. Who am I now?
Tell us briefly what are you doing.
I've been thrown
in
into
life?
this, but I kind of like it. But my background is that I've studied economy and real estate economy and worked in that area for quite some time before I started doing my own things in coaching and health business here in Sweden. I've always been much into alternative health, and I have a huge network here in Sweden with alternative health practitioners that and naturopaths and other people like that. And that was my way into like realizing all these things about the corruption and the truth that is censored from us. So right now I feel like I am a leader. I was born to become a leader, and I feel now that I'm taking that role in this freedom movement because it's very much needed. People need, we need to organize and we need to come together. So that's my role right now.
Interesting. Let's talk about Sweden. compared to other countries, the Swedish way is pretty moderate handling this pandemic, so it worked quite well. Until now, pretty well without mandatory masks and without lockdowns. Can you explain? So, what do you think? What is the situation right now in Sweden? From your point of view, is there a pandemic? Is it a really serious virus threatening Sweden, or what is your perception?
I have been very confused, and I'm still not sure what's going on here in Sweden. But like from the strategy, the Swedish strategy, if we start with that, like it's very clear that we had a very mild strategy in the beginning that has now intensified, and I don't see the reason why it is intensified, because if it was like there was a spike somehow in the hospitals and everything in like April, May, maybe March, April, May last year. But then no statistics besides this like positive test results based on the PCR test technology. That's the only thing where you see spikes. And it makes no sense. Yeah, it makes sense because you test so many people and more people, and you make them mandatory, etc. But other than that, I don't see anything. Like if I was living in the forest for a year and I came back and I just seen these people panicking around and like, yeah, there's this deadly virus. I'm like, okay, but are people dying? I don't see statistics for that. Are the hospitals full of people? Like, can the hospitals not take care of all people? No, the hospitals are not full, but I think some sections of the hospitals are maybe full, but the main problem is that the resources are like, we haven't invested in healthcare in Sweden for so long, and that we have so many people staying home because they're scared, like they work in the healthcare industry. So that is my view of the situation.
Okay, so do you think most of Swedish people share this point of view, or what do you think is the general opinion about the situation?
Definitely not. They do not, like the majority of the Swedish people do not share this point of view, because they follow the mainstream media. They follow what folkhjältemyndigheten in Sweden says. They follow what the government says. They follow what Stefan Löfven, our prime minister, says. And that is like, in Sweden we have for so many years, for centuries almost, but like for many years, we have been we believe in the society, we believe in the structure that we have. And there is a strength in that, but I feel that we Swedes, we don't step up and like speak our mind because we kind of follow the narrative. That's a typical Swedish trait, as I see it. And it's dangerous in these times because people don't think for themselves. But I see that people are awakening, and there are more and more that listen to what I'm saying and that like see what I see, and I feel that's very good, and I'm happy for that.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say to people who say, oh, I don't understand why you go on the street? What do you tell them?
What do I tell them? If someone says to me, I don't understand, I would probably ask them like, okay, but do you like these restrictions? Oh, they would say, no, I don't like them. I hate them. I cannot meet my grandparents. I cannot live. I need to be at home working. I cannot do this. Like, it's for me. And then I ask them, okay, but do you think it's necessary to have these restrictions? Or would you actually like to remove them and live as you lived before? And they say, yeah, okay, but we cannot do them. They say, because then people will die. And I don't see that connection. Because there is no one like that can prove that. And especially since I don't see that there's a deadly threat as well in society. So that's
okay. So since the new pandemic law, it is not allowed to be more than 8 people in a demonstration, in a protest with signs. So without signs, the police is most of the times turning a blind eye on it. So don't you take a big risk to get fined or being arrested when you organize something like this Tusenmannamarsch?
Yes,
Isn't
a
it
big
a
risk.
big risk?
There's a big risk, an overwhelming risk of me being fined. Actually, the Länsstyrelsen, an authority here in Sweden, called me today and said that if I arrange this tomorrow, they would give me a 20,000 Swedish crown fine. So it's
So,
yeah.
so how do you feel about it? So,
I don't
you're
care.
going to do.
I don't care because someone needs to step out and do what's right, and I feel that this is the right thing to do, and I will take the consequences, but I will fight for my freedom, and I will inspire people because that's what I'm good at. Yeah.
So, as I have experienced so far, most people of your age are pro-government, wear mask and follow all restrictions.
Yes.
That is why I'm so happy to see that there here in Sweden a younger generation is on the move to call for protest and change. On top, it is said that Swedes do not like to step out for the masses and do not really demonstrate. So why does the younger generation not go on the streets protesting for their freedom? What do you think? Do you think this could become a turning point? So,
Yeah, I ask myself the same question: Why are not my generation stepping up, seeing this? Why haven't any strong male, strong men in my age, stepped out doing these things? And I'm like, yeah, the only answer I can come up with is that I need to do it and probably inspire more, because there are awake people, but I think people feel so alone with their thoughts, with their opinions. And if we can just show that, no, but we are more, we keep together, we stand together, we unite, then people will dare to actually go out and say, this is what I believe in. Because that's so unusual in Sweden. Because Swedes are like, no, I'm just neutral, I'm just listening to everyone, I don't have an opinion. And I hate that. Because one of the most attractive attributes of a person, for me, is someone who actually believes in something. I don't necessarily have to agree, but I find that so attractive. And I want to be that person, standing up for what I believe in. Yeah.
great. In most countries, the mainstream media tries to manipulate the people, making them believe all demonstrators are anti-democrats, right-wingers, extremists, or even terrorists. What do you think? What do you say about that?
Well, I think it's a natural process that they have an agenda, they have some narrative that they want to mirror and they like and document, and they will not report anything that doesn't follow that because they are not allowed to, because the mainstream media in Sweden are corrupt, as I say it, because they don't show the whole picture, which is their job to do, especially the ones that are funded by the Swedish, with Swedish money, with tax money. So, what was the question? Like, what do I think about that?
So what do you think about the reframing that takes place in mainstream media?
They will reframe. They've already done that with my words, and they will continue to do that. But I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. The Swedish expression is probably in English as well, but because they will lose on it. Long term, everyone right now who's not telling the truth, standing up for truth, will lose. Because they are trying to censor things, and the censorship, it will fall. It will. So I'm just this. It's going to happen. So I feel kind of calm in that.
Okay. So where do you get your information, and how can people compare mainstream media with what is really taking place? So where do you go to inform yourself, and what would you recommend people to go to get the truth?
That's a really good question, because I don't know. I try to like find different sources, but the main thing where I find my information and where I like that like controls what I'm doing, my actions I take in my life, what I listen to, what I do, is that I listen to people who I look up to. People who have results when it comes to health, relationships, wealth, and other things that are vital, happy, strong, free thinking, that live their life like completely. I listen to those people. I've always done. And it comes down to this, that most of them that I listen to, like 99% of them, they are with me in this. So I kind of like go into like, what is it that they see in the world that makes them, because I get inspired by them, and then I get confirmation from different sources, and I see like, so it's a very difficult thing to do, but I think the main thing you must do is to really go inside. You can take this information, but you can also get stuck in the information out there. So go back inside, like, what is the truth in me? Go to a silent retreat for a week and just let these voices in your head become quiet, because then you get in touch with something deeper and you understand, like, yeah, you get. So I have a very spiritual perspective about that.
And you connect to people. You're connected to people. People have a strong influence on you. More important.
Yeah,
than
more important than media. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, and what about alternative media? What's the role of alternative media for you and in general?
Well, I follow
days?
alternative media, and I listen to podcasts, and I listen to like different wide opinions. I don't know, like here in Sweden we have many alternative media that are called like the right-wing media.
Okay.
That like have their like, I don't know. I don't like, I just try to see it like I do my own, like I make up my own mind. Like I get this information here and I get this information here and I pick it together and I like combine it, but it always comes back to what I believe in. Yeah.
Okay.
Simple thing.
Let's talk about the political system in Sweden. So, what do you think about the political system in Sweden in general?
I hate is a very strong word, but I dislike politicians and the political system because I think it's very non-productive, and it's a lot of like throwing rocks on each other all the time, and I don't like this. So I've been for like the last 10-15 years, because people always tell me like, you're good at speaking, you're good at like being out there, you should be a politician. I'm like, no, I've never wanted to be a politician. I want to be something else, because I think that the political system is part of an old system that's going down right now. I don't know how like quickly, but we need to build something new, because I see that the political system, they have like the politicians have like lost their connection to their soul. That's how I would express it, because they just speak their party's program. It's like blah 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 blah, but there's no depth. It's very shallow, very like, we have an expression in Sweden like PK, is political correct, and they're very political correct. And I think we long for something that's real. We long for the truth. Every person do that. I think that's why one of the reasons why Donald Trump was so successful, because he actually did something different from like traditional politicians. He actually, like, yeah, there was more like, this is Donald Trump. It was more of like that person, not just. I think Hillary Clinton is the opposite, like just speaking. There's no depth. There's no like, you don't see her soul. That's my opinion.
Okay, so you said since 10 years you have this idea or this impression. So have you been active somewhere? Have you been organizing yourself with like-minded people? So, or what have you done instead of getting aware of the Swedish system? What do you think people should do to change the system?
To change the system, well, I think that, and I have always had like very strong visions of, but how do I want to live instead? Because what we need to do now is we need to create a new system, a better system, because the system creates structure and it provides structure and stability to the masses. So we cannot just take away a system, but we need to discuss, like, do we actually want to have this system? Or how can we upgrade it to a 2.0 version? That's what I want to do. And I want to start, like, I've felt for so many years now that is my life mission, to create this new system and to be a leader in creating that. And that doesn't mean that we're going to, like, just destroy. There are good things with this system. Like, it's not, like, completely bad, but it's outdated, and we need something new to go into a new age right now.
Okay, so would you rather rebuild it from the inside or from the outside? So would you rather
No, outside.
found a new party? Okay,
Yeah,
so
definitely. Like, not even parties. I'm thinking about like villages. So like, I think we need to go back to like, how do we actually want to live? And how do I want to live? And how can I inspire more to follow me in creating? I don't know, but I think I actually believe right now we need to create communities where we create new structures, and then communities can work together in a cluster format and start something. But I have no idea how that's going to be in like 10, 20 years. I just have a very strong view of how I would like to live. And I'm not sure how the structure is going to be, but I want to work with that. And that's why I want to gather people right now, because if we come together, we can start working on these new structures.
Okay, interesting. So as I understood, if any party would approach you and ask you to join them, you're not going to be a member of a traditional party, or you're not planning to found your own party. You're not going to go into politics and traditional politics.
No, I'm not going to do that, because it's not my way. I don't feel attracted to that at all. Maybe I can support a party that stands for something, that wants to work inside the system, but I feel like I want to break free of the system and create something new. That's what I want.
Okay. So, as I know, you're member of the World Freedom Alliance.
Yes.
Right? So can you tell us a little about that organization? So what is it, and why did you join them?
Yeah, I think I know quite much about the background, but like, first it was the World Doctors Alliance, an alliance of doctors from Germany and all over Europe coming together, creating that organization. And they met up at different demonstrations and rallies in Europe. And then they came to Stockholm, and I supported there, and I was helping out in that demonstration and gathering in Stockholm in October. And that weekend, a lot of people, including me, created that organization because it was very much needed to actually bring together different countries right now into a World Freedom Alliance, standing up for rights so that we can work together. And I think World Freedom Alliance is actually, they're wanting to create the new, but right now they're doing a very important job inside the system when it comes to law, when it comes to like bringing information together, spreading it all over Europe and creating these. And I'm also, because World Freedom Alliance, we have from that we created something called Frihet Sverige, which is an ideal organization here in Sweden, a non-profit organization, that's the English word. That is actually, we kind of want to do what World Freedom Alliance do. We want to do that in Sweden and have a connection to World Freedom Alliance. So I'm a part of that too.
Okay, great. So tomorrow will be a big event,
yes,
a big moment. Do you have plans for the near future? Do you have already plans after tomorrow? Or are you only focusing on tomorrow?
I have a really hard time right now to focus on anything other than tomorrow. But I think when it's done tomorrow, it will probably be a big release of stress and tension in me, and then next week I need some rest, maybe a day or two, and then I will naturally start thinking about what's the next step now.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good. So we wish you good luck for Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.